everybody, this is Daniel. I want to talk about these stories that are coming out about the Russians hacking our election and our voting machines, and I want to talk about what I agree with, what I don't agree with, but I want to do it a little differently. I'm going to give you a couple of sources because I actually redid this video because I want to do more research. So I'm going to give you all the sources that I looked at, just a few of them, a good few. And then I'm going to give you some thoughts, my opinion, and then I want to hear from you to see what your opinion is. So, you've heard about everything going on in Russia. Russia allegedly hacked our election. Trump won because of Russia. Russia had interest of him winning. You've heard all this. There's a lot that's been talked about, but I want to kind of break it down and give multiple sides of it and then give you my thoughts. So on the one hand, you've got the all but clear confirmation from sources like NBC News that Russia hacked our election, and they did it because they wanted Trump. Because of oil, because of national security, because of national interest. They wanted Trump, they got Trump. There's another article I included from the New York Times. The New York Times did this differently. They've written about the same thing as well from the same viewpoint, but they did an investigative piece that I'm including. And what this does is they go back to September 2015. And they talk about how even back then an FBI agent had called the DNC and said, hey, you're being hacked by Russia and we want to tell you so you do something about it. And how the DNC, the White House, Hillary's campaign all bungled it and messed it up bad to the point where it got to where it is today. The phishing scams that they fell for with their emails and how their emails were compromised. They talk about WikiLeaks and they report some stuff that I don't agree with, which I'll get to in a second. But they include this long piece so that you get another picture of what everyone's saying about Russia and the hacks. I've included that link as well. I've included two more links for you from the Intercepts, a good source that I like. So what they said in two of their articles, one of them, they said that President Obama should declassify every bit of information that he can about this, because that's the only way the American people are going to know whether Russia really did hack it to us or not, okay? So transparency among the American people. Crazy, I know. And the fourth, which is the second link from the Intercept, they talk about if you look at all the public evidence available that Russia allegedly hacked our elections, everything together looks solid until you start pulling it apart and really breaking down every piece of evidence, and then they start showing in good detail how these things become really suspect. So, those are the different sources. What do I think about this? And then, what do you think? I did a video about this already where I told you I don't trust the CIA until they give me the evidence, and I'll decide for myself what I think. So my opinion on all this is I still don't think we've been given the evidence to show that Russia hacked our election. I don't even know what it means to hack our election. Like, are we saying that Russia hacked the DNC and then gave that stuff to WikiLeaks so that we could see just how biased the DNC was in favor of Hillary? Well, number one, yeah, they were biased in favor of Hillary. Number two, I'm not convinced that the Russians hacked the DNC. I think someone else leaked that information from the DNC on the inside. Some people think it was Seth Rich. And I think he may have given that to Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. I don't know if it's exactly him. That's who's believed that it was, but I don't think it was the Russians. And I'm not until you give me proof. Now, when it comes to the Russians wanting Trump to win, well, maybe that's the case, but I haven't seen solid, beyond a reasonable doubt evidence to show it. And I heard one good point about this. Frankly, could you blame Russia? Like, I'm not saying it's right if they hacked it, although Trump did ask them to hack us, but that he gets away with that because he's white and rich, so it's fine. But Russia looked at Hillary winning and said, ooh, she's going to sanction us, and she's going to do no-fly zones in Syria. She wants war with us. And they went, Trump is cool with us. Who should we maybe support if we wanted to? Yeah. So even if they did it, I understand why they did it, although it's still wrong, and I'm not endorsing it, for those of you who jump to conclusions. But I still don't see where we have sufficient, clear evidence that Russia hacked into our systems in order to interfere with and tamper with our elections. I see people saying every day that they did, I see people slowly increasing their assumptions and going from we think they were involved to we're pretty sure they were involved to they were involved to we need to retaliate. Every day there's an escalation of assumption, and I don't see an escalation of evidence, so no, I don't believe it. And I think it's important that we have a good, healthy skepticism of our government. This is the same government, the CIA, who goes and orders coups in other countries, who does this very same thing that we're accusing Russia of doing in other countries. Like Hillary has argued for rigging elections in other countries. And we're supposed to, when the United States tells us this, our government, we're supposed to implicitly believe them? That's crazy. This is the same United States government that lied us into the war in Iraq. Untold number of civilians dead. A war that was not justified. Money, trillions of dollars wasted that could have gone toward education and health care and clean water. All of this. And I'm supposed to automatically believe what the government says? I can't even finish that sentence. No, I don't. So I'm being the reasonable one. And I think we have to do this to say, okay, well, we suspend our judgment until you give us clear evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt that points to this. Until you give us evidence, no, you don't have our support. No, you don't have our funding. And if you decide to get us into a conflict with Russia, when we've made it clear to you that you don't have it, you're losing your seats. And that applies to both parties. Democrats will lose their seats if they keep up with this Red Scare. Republicans will lose their seats if they don't give us evidence and they still act anyway. That's the only way our government is going to move. It's like Noam Chomsky said, why do politicians lie to us? Because we let them. I'm not going to let them lie to me. I'm not moving from my position until they give me clear evidence. And I think that's how we should all do it. But tell me what you think. Have you already made up your mind? Are you on one side or the other? Are you on the fence? Do you not know? Are you not even really paying attention to it? Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. And until then, I'll see you next time.